Namaste to all my little children. Today I am going to tell a story about Sleeping Beauty. Let's go. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a king and a queen, and were kind and good. When the queen gave birth to a baby girl, the whole kingdom rejoiced. When it was time for the baby to be christened, the king and queen arranged a great celebration. They asked the 7 good fairies of the kingdom to be the baby's good godmothers. But fairies arrived at the feast. The 8 fairy was ugly and old, and no one had seen her for years. The king and queen, thinking she was dead, hadn't invited her to take part in the ceremony. Soon it was time for the fairies to give the baby princess their magical presents. The first gave her the gift of beauty. The second gave her wisdom. The third fairy said she would be graceful. The fourth said that she would dance like the wind. The fifth and sixth gave her the gift of music and song, so that she would sing and play like an angel. Just before the 7th fairy stepped up to the princess her gift, the 8th fairy pushed ahead of her. The princess, she cackled, will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die. Everyone in the room was horrified, and the queen began to cry. But then the 7th fairy stepped up forward. "Here is my gift," she said. "The princess will not die. Instead, when she pricks her fingers, she will fall asleep for 100 years. At the end of that time, a prince will come to the wake of her." The king and queen were relieved, but even so they ordered by spinning wheel in the kingdom to be destroyed. They couldn't bear to think of anything hurting their daughter. The years passed, and the princess grew into a lovely young girl, as was beautiful and graceful, and the fairies had promised. On the day of her 16th birthday, she was wandering through the castle when she came to a small room in a tall tower. Inside, an old woman sat spinning thread. "My dear," cackled the old woman, "come here and try this for yourself." As soon as the princess' hand touched the spindle, she pricked her finger and fell to the floor in a deep sleep. When they discovered their child, the king and the queen were heartbroken, for they knew that she would not wake for 100 years. They called for the palace guard, who gently laid the sleeping princess on a golden stretcher and carried her to the royal bedchamber. There they placed her on a bed with silken pillows and velvet cover. The king and the queen watched over her and cried. "Oh, my dear," said the queen to her husband, What will we do without our darling daughter? The fairy who had saved the prince's life heard what had happened, worried that the princess would wake up in a wonder world where she knew no one. She cast a spell over the whole castle. Everyone, from the guard and the kitchen maid to the gardeners and the cooks, even the princess' pet dog, fell into a deep, deep sleep. Then the fairy made tall trees and sharp, twisting brambles grow around the castle, surrounding it with a thick, thorny wall that no one could get through. Only the very top of the castle's tower could be seen. And so 100 years went by. One day, a prince from a nearby land who was out riding when he saw the top of the castle tower rising from the middle of the thick dark wood. He asked some of the country people about it, and they told him the story of the Sleeping Beauty. Many people have wanted to get through those thorns, they told him, but they have all died trying. The prince had determined to be the one who succeeded. He set off towards the mysterious castle. To the prince's amazement, the thorny brambles and the twisting branches of the dark trees let him pass through easily. He reached the castle's door and went inside. The prince walked through many halls and chambers where people and animals slept as if they were dead. He searched every room and chamber until he found the very one where the beautiful princess slept. "Oh, princess," he cried, "you are more beautiful than the most dedicated rose and that every grew." The princess moved quickly towards the sleeping princess and gazed down at her lovingly. He gently took her tiny hand in his, and as love filled his heart, he kneeled beside her and slowly kissed her lips. Instantly, the princess's eyes opened. Is it you, my prince?" she said when she saw him. "I have waited such a long time for you." At that moment, the spell was broken, and everywhere else in the castles woke up too. That evening, Princess' 16th birthday was celebrated with a joyous party. Just 100 years too late, the princess had her prince dance together, all evening, and soon after they were married. They lived together in happiness for many, many years. How was my story, my children? Thank you.